Greetings, R. Frederick Riddle here with Christian News and Views. And today we are taking a look at the Supreme Court as it takes up the idea of parents' rights. Um, this consideration began on Tuesday, and if there's been any update since I've recorded this, I will include it in the description. But here it is. The Supreme Court began consideration on Tuesday whether parents can opt out of their kids reading LGBTQ books in the classroom that conflict with their family's faith. Parents in Montgomery County, Maryland, are claiming their children's schools are violating their religious freedom by not allowing them to opt out of lessons that use books featuring LGBTQ storylines. The controversy began in November 2022 when Montgomery County Public Schools introduced new LGBTQ books into the curriculum as part of the district's inclusivity initiative. According to Beckett, a religious freedom legal group representing the parents' case, the books champion pride parades, gender transitioning, and pronoun preferences for children. While the school district originally did allow an opt-out option, it announced in March 2023 that the option would not be granted and that parents would not be notified before the books were introduced into their children's classrooms. A federal appeals court ruled in May 2024 that parents can't opt their children or kids out of reading books with LGBTQ plus content in Montgomery County schools. The U.S. Supreme Court agreed in January to hear the case, Mahmoud versus Taylor, during the 2024-25 term. Grace Morrison, one of the plaintiffs in the case, is a mother of 7 children who lives in Montgomery County. Her youngest child, who has Down syndrome and other special needs, was attending public school and headed into 4th grade when she was made aware of the new school policy. We felt as parents that we would present these things to our children like we always have when they're ready to receive them, and especially a child with special needs. It's even more difficult for her to understand, Morrison told Fox News Digital in February. Morrison told Fox News Digital that the books in question, including stories that present issues of gender ideology, could be confusing and go against their faith. The plaintiffs in the case include Muslim, Catholic, and Ukrainian Orthodox practitioners. According to Beckett, the Montgomery County School Board in Maryland is one of the few school boards across the nation to ban notices and opt-outs for parents on sexuality and gender instruction. Beckett attorney William Hahn told Fox News Digital that they will center their argument before the Supreme Court on parents' First Amendment rights being violated by this school policy, saying that the free exercise clause protects the authority of parents, even with children in public schools, to opt out of instructions that would interfere with their child's religious development. The parents' argument, and this is my opinion now, the parents' argument is centered, and I'm going to reread what was said there, on parents' First Amendment rights being violated by this school policy, saying that the free exercise clause protects the authority of parents, even with children in public schools, to opt out of instruction that would interfere with their child's religious development. Now, I don't know how the court's going to decide on that. I know how they should. The Constitution and the amendments are rather clear. And the parents, there's such a thing as parents' rights and the right of faith. I noticed that it was not just Christians, it was Muslims and others also. So this is an anti-religious agenda, not just Christian, anti-Christian, but it's anti-everything faith that has any kind of a morality to it. The Supreme Court should, to be honest with you, I don't care if you're conservative or liberal. This should be a 9-0 vote. 9-0, that school board is in the wrong and should not, they don't have that kind of authority, should never have that kind of authority. And for them to rule that that the parents have to allow their children to read immoral books, hey, I'm an adult and I wouldn't want to read that stuff. It's not good for you. It will color your thinking. It will mess you up. And now we're talking not only about public schools, we're talking about a disadvantaged child or a special needs child that it would even be more confusing to. Where are these judges? Where are their heads? They're certainly not focused on the Constitution, because what they're saying goes completely against the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights doesn't give people the right to practice LGBTQ agendas, but it does give parents the right to protect their children against such agendas, such immorality. And so these people don't even belong on the bench. Probably nothing you can do about that until maybe election time or something. But it's just not right. And I'm not talking about just on the bench. The people who are in the school district, running the school districts, don't belong in their position of authority that they have if this is the way they think. They just simply don't belong there and should be removed. I'm all for democracy. I'm all for our representative democracy way, and somebody needs to challenge these people. Put some people up there that can will represent their community, represent the people, but in particular, even if they're not Christians themselves, they will represent the right of Christians, or in this case, Mormons, Muslims, whatever other religion there is out there, to operate and to protect them from the government interfering. They're not endangering their children by protecting them against this kind of stuff. Now, if you sacrifice a child on a fire, yeah, that's endangering your child. You burn them, you do other things other than spanking, then there's might be reason to investigate. But when our government has gotten this idea that kids belong to the state, that is not in the Constitution. You can look at it from one end to the other, upside down, from side to side. It's not there. It's not in the Bible. It's nowhere except in their thinking. Children, let me put this correctly here. Children do not belong to the state. God himself has given them to parents. You'll find that in the Bible. He gave them to the parents, and he gave the parents the responsibility to educate them, to protect them, to guide them along the way. The state has no right whatsoever in that. And this whole idea that that the children belong to the state is a fallacy right out of the pit of hell, and they should not be allowed to have any say whatsoever in how a parent raises their child, unless there is some kind of physical harm. And I mean harm. I'm not talking about, oh, they might learn about the 10 Commandments. That's not harm. That would be good. I'm not talking about them learning that the only way to heaven is through the blood of Jesus Christ. That's not harm. That's life-saving information. I'm talking about where they put them in cages, where they beat them. And I'm not talking about spanking here. I got spanked when I was a kid. I turned out all right. And I never met anybody who didn't turn out all right for being just simply spanked. There is legitimate discipline, and the Bible even gets into that. The government, the state, is not over the family, and it's not over the church. These are three equal institutions created by God. They're to work together, not against one another. Unfortunately, people get in government offices, they think they have absolute power, and that's where they go with it. And you can get cases like this. It should be just tossed out. It should have been tossed out, not even brought up for consideration. It should have been tossed out on its heels at the very first time that it was brought in. For the first time that the school district said, you got to read these books, it should have been tossed out. Not the lawsuit. The lawsuit's right. I'm talking about the decision to force parents to read material that is immoral in every aspect. I mean, you have this clear across the religious spectrum. We have Christians and Mormons and Muslims and you name it, and they all are saying the same thing. So you have God saying it, which is all you really need, and then you have religious people saying it as well. But the fact that God says it's wrong, and if you don't believe that, read chapter 1 of Romans. Then you need help if you think that that's okay to teach and to force parents to allow their children to be taught this junk. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little wrapped up here, but it has to be spoken about. If there is a decision before the publishing of this episode, I will include it in the description so that you know it's just not right. Hopefully, you enjoyed this. I got a little wrapped up there, a little bit excited, didn't I? But that is something that I've never had children. My wife and I never had children, but we love children. And we would have been, it would have been horrible. We would have pulled our kids out of the school system and tried to do either put them in a Christian school or probably, well, we didn't really have, there wasn't a lot of homeschooling going on. And there was some, and we might have tried it. But Teresa, with her master's degree, probably would have qualified for it. But the thing is, it's just opposing. It's completely contrary to the Word of God. It's completely contrary to the history of this nation, the founding documents of this nation, whether you're talking about the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, or the amendments. It's contrary to all that. And for anybody to think otherwise, like I said, they need help. Well, hopefully you enjoy this program. And if you do, why don't you subscribe right down below here, right about there. And subscribe. And when you do that, you not only get Christian news and views, which is what you're watching right now, but you also get becoming a published author is fun. And by the way, it is. And it's not only fun to be a published author, it's fun for me to participate in that podcast. And so, both of those podcasts will come to your channel. My channel is TR Independent Books. The Christian News and Views is one podcast. Becoming a published author is fun as the other one. And anything else I publish in that channel will come to you. And you can follow, read along. You can agree or disagree. Let me know either way. But when you do this, when you subscribe to it, you encourage me. Encourage me to inform you, encourage you, and inspire you to be the best that you can be, to be a kind of Christian author you want to be, and to be the kind of Christian American you should be, an informed American who can make informed decisions based on the Christian view of the world and of the news. That's it for today. I hope to see you. Well, I'll be here in the next episode. Hopefully you'll be there too to watch. And in the meantime, you have a great day. See you then.